The Interstellar Academy was famous across the galaxy. Students from dozens of species studied there, learning science, history, culture, and even physical training together. It was a place built on unity, where young minds prepared to become future leaders of their people. The classrooms were filled with strange colors, sounds, and languages, but everyone respected one another, or at least they tried to. One quiet morning, a rumor spread like fire across the halls. Whispers filled the air. Some students stopped walking, their eyes wide with fear. Others hid their voices but leaned close to their friends as they shared the same shocking news. A Deathworlder is coming here. The word Deathworlder made the halls colder. Everyone knew what it meant. A Deathworld was a planet where nature itself was cruel. Lands full of storms, predators, diseases, and dangerous landscapes. To live there was nearly impossible. Yet somehow, one species not only survived but thrived. That species was humanity. The galaxy called them Deathworlders. No one in this academy had ever studied with one before. Stories said humans were unpredictable, reckless, and frighteningly strong. They had strange emotions that pushed them to run into danger rather than away from it. Some said they fought giant beasts with only sticks. Others claimed humans could survive wounds that would kill any other race. To the young alien students, a human was not a classmate. It was a nightmare with a smile. In classroom 7B, the news reached the ears of a group of alien students. Their eyes glowed in fear, their scales twitched, their antennae quivered. The idea of a Deathworlder walking through the same door as them made their hearts pound. "We are doomed," whispered Krill, a thin insectoid with shimmering wings. "The Deathworlder will crush us by mistake. Their gravity, their muscles, it is unnatural." "Maybe they will not notice us," said Lura, a tall reptilian student with bright green eyes. But even as she said it, she wrapped her tail nervously around her chair. "I heard their planet has predators larger than starships. If they survived that, what chance do we have?" A smaller creature, with soft fur and trembling whiskers, squeaked out a question. "Why would the Academy allow such a being here? It is dangerous for all of us." None of them had an answer. They only had fear. That afternoon, the truth arrived. The classroom door slid open with a soft hiss, and in walked the new student. A young human stood there carrying a bag over one shoulder. His hair was dark, his eyes sharp but friendly. He smiled and waved, as if nothing was strange about the situation at all. Hi," he said in clear galactic standard. "I'm Jason. I just transferred here from Earth. Nice to meet you all." The silence in the room was so heavy that Jason could almost hear the alien hearts beating. Rows of eyes, scales, feathers, and antennae turned toward him. No one spoke back. No one waved. To them, the smile on his face was not friendly. It was the grin of a predator showing its teeth. Jason blinked. He rubbed the back of his neck, feeling the awkwardness. "Right, okay, I guess I'll just sit over there." He walked to an empty desk, his footsteps sounding heavier than any alien student's. Every creak of the chair as he sat down made his classmates flinch. The teacher, an older amphibian being with calm eyes, cleared his throat. "Class, this is Jason. He is from Earth. Please welcome him politely. Tomorrow, he will be joining all of you in gym class." That last sentence hit the students like thunder. Gym class, physical training, running, lifting, climbing, and competing. With a Deathworlder, terror spread instantly. Antennae curled, tails flicked nervously, wings buzzed in panic. One student whispered too loudly, "If he joins gym class, we will not survive the week." Jason heard the whispers but misunderstood them. He thought they were shy or nervous because he was new. He gave another friendly smile. "Don't worry, I'm not that good at sports. I'll probably just try my best like everyone else." But the words only made it worse. Not that good at sports? If a Deathworlder admitted to being only average, what did that mean? Did it mean he could run faster than machines? Did it mean his punches could shatter walls? The aliens imagined horrible scenes of broken gym equipment, crushed classmates, and terrifying accidents. After class, the students gathered in corners to talk. Their voices were hushed, but the fear was clear. He will destroy the climbing frames. He will toss the weights like toys. He will challenge the coach. He will break us without trying. Some students even considered skipping gym altogether. Better to face punishment for absence than to stand near a human in physical training. Yet, deep down, curiosity also stirred. What was it really like to see a Deathworlder move? To see the strength that had survived such a cruel planet? Fear and fascination mixed in their minds like storm clouds. Meanwhile, Jason walked to the dormitory with a relaxed step. He thought about how different this place was compared to Earth. The colors, the smells, the endless variety of faces. He wanted to make friends. He wanted to prove that humans weren't scary. But as he remembered the way everyone stared at him, he sighed. Guess they're not used to humans, he muttered to himself. Tomorrow in gym, I'll show them I'm just normal. Maybe then they'll stop looking at me like I'm about to bite their heads off. But Jason didn't realize something important. To his alien classmates, normal for a human was already terrifying. What he thought of as simple running, stretching, or lifting, they would see as impossible. Tomorrow's gym class would not just be a lesson in exercise. It would be the beginning of something none of them expected. A lesson in what it truly meant to be human. The next day, the gym class was buzzing with nervous energy. Alien students whispered to one another as they gathered near the equipment. No one wanted to make eye contact with Jason. Every glance at him reminded them of the stories. Deathworlders were unpredictable, relentless, and frighteningly strong. But today they would face something even harder than running or climbing, the strength and endurance test. Coach Relcor's forearms gestured toward the training area. Today we push your limits. You will run, lift, and balance in a series of challenges designed to test your body and spirit. Everyone participates, no exceptions. The aliens gulped. Even some of the strongest students trembled. They looked at Jason with a mixture of fear and awe. He smiled, stretching casually. Sounds fun. Let's do it, he said. The first challenge was weightlifting. Heavy bars floated in anti-gravity slots, designed to test raw power. One by one, the aliens approached. A few tried to lift the bars and could only manage a small fraction of the weight. Sweat dripped from scales and fur. Antennae drooped. The furry students squeaked, trying to push the bar higher, but collapsing halfway. Jason approached the bar with a calm expression. He bent his knees, gripped the handles, and lifted. It moved smoothly under his hands. His muscles tensed and relaxed with perfect control, and in moments, he held the bar above his head without strain. He lowered it gently. Is that even possible? Whispered a small alien behind him. His voice trembled. He didn't even break a sweat. Jason shrugged. It's just practice. You'll get stronger with time. Don't worry. The alien students could not understand. How could someone be so strong and gentle at the same time? In their minds, such strength was only for fighting, not for helping. Fear and confusion filled their thoughts. The next challenge was the endurance. A long track curved around the gym with obstacles like low walls, uneven terrain, and simulated hazards. The students lined up. Krill the insectoid tried to calm himself, but his wings buzzed uncontrollably. He will run circles around us, he muttered. Jason waited patiently. When the coach blew the whistle, the students started. Some stumbled over obstacles immediately. Some climbed with trembling limbs, dragging themselves forward. Jason ran at a steady pace, careful not to overwhelm the others, but he passed nearly everyone effortlessly. He encouraged them. You can do it. Keep going. The aliens misinterpreted his words. They imagined him taunting them, watching their failures for amusement. Every smile, every encouraging word felt like a challenge. Halfway through the track, an alien student slipped near a small ledge. Panic filled the air. Jason didn't hesitate. He ran faster, grabbed the alien, and steadied them before they fell. Then he let them continue. The rescued student's eyes widened in shock. He saved me, whispered a voice. But the others were even more terrified. Not only is he fast and strong, but he can react instantly. The idea made them shiver. After the run, everyone collapsed onto mats, gasping and trembling. Jason patted a few shoulders. "Good job, everyone. That was tough, but you all tried your best." "Best?" hissed Laura, still trembling. "You made it look easy. You are impossible." Jason laughed. "No, I just grew up running a lot. You'll get there too if you practice." The next challenge was balance and agility. The students had to cross a series of floating platforms, some spinning slowly, others shaking. Many of the smaller aliens wobbled and fell into safety nets. Their fear of Jason grew. How could someone from a death world move so smoothly, so effortlessly? Jason started across the platforms. He stepped lightly, keeping his center of gravity perfect. When one platform wobbled under him, he adjusted instantly, almost dancing across the gaps. He helped a few students without being asked, giving them small tips. "Shift your weight here. Lift your foot just a bit more." The aliens were confused. His help was gentle, but to them it was intimidating. They imagined that if he wanted, he could push anyone off the platforms without effort. Instead, he was kind. It made no sense. Finally, the last challenge was team coordination. Groups of students had to move a heavy object together, balancing it while crossing a narrow path. Jason was paired with Laura and Krill. The two aliens were terrified. If he dropped it, or if he moved too fast, they might be crushed. Jason smiled at them. "Ready? We can do this together." Slowly, they started moving the object. Jason adjusted his strength to match theirs, lifting gently when needed, letting them carry more when they could. Step by step, they crossed the path. The aliens could not believe it. The Deathworlder, whom they had feared all morning, was working with them. He was not only strong, but careful, patient, and supportive. When the exercise ended, the coach nodded, approvingly. "Well done, all of you. And Jason, your control and teamwork are excellent." Jason waved. "Thanks. Everyone did great. I think we make a good team." The alien students looked at each other. Their fear was still there, but now, mixed with something else, curiosity. What was a human, really? How could someone survive a death world and still be so calm, friendly, and helpful? That night, the students gathered in whispers again. They described what they had seen. He lifted the bar like it weighed nothing. He ran faster than any of us could imagine. He saved the alien on the track without even thinking. He helped us balance across the platforms. Slowly, they began to understand. Humans were not monsters who wanted to crush them. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but not in the way they feared. Their unpredictability came from courage, endurance, and strength paired with kindness. Jason, meanwhile, returned to his dorm, exhausted but happy. He had tried to keep his abilities calm, not to frighten anyone. And he had succeeded, partially. He knew the aliens were scared, but he hoped tomorrow they would start to trust him. After all, he just wanted to join a normal gym class. He looked out the window at the galaxy. So many worlds, so many creatures. Yet here he was, in the middle of it all, trying to make friends. One day, he thought, maybe the galaxy would see humans not as terrifying Deathworlders, but as something else entirely. For now, though, he could hear the distant whispers echoing through the academy. Impossible. Frightening. Extraordinary. Maybe human. And Jason smiled. Maybe they were starting to understand. The morning sun streamed into the Interstellar Academy gym, casting long shadows across the equipment and mats. Today was another gym session, but something felt different. Alien students whispered nervously to each other, glancing at Jason as he stretched quietly in the corner. His calm confidence, which had terrified them at first, now made them uneasy in a new way. They were beginning to understand that humans were unpredictable, not just strong, but clever. Coach Relcor clapped his four hands together. Today's exercises will test creativity and problem-solving in addition to strength. You must think, adapt, and work together. Remember, the greatest victories often come from ingenuity, not raw power. Jason smiled at the announcement. To him, this was exciting. His planet, Earth, was full of challenges that required thinking as much as strength. He loved puzzles and problem-solving, and gym class was turning into something like an adventure. The first exercise was the obstacle maze, a twisting structure of walls, beams, ropes, and platforms. Students had to navigate it in pairs, carrying small weighted crates across various barriers. The aliens groaned at the sight, shaking their heads nervously. Jason was paired with Lura and Krill once again. "All right," he said cheerfully. "Let's figure this out together." The maze began with a high wall that required climbing. Lura hesitated. "I can't reach the top," she said, fear in her voice. Jason examined the wall. It was too high for her, but he noticed a smaller foothold, near the side. "Step here first, then reach the higher grip," he instructed. "I'll guide you." Lura tried it, and with Jason's guidance, she managed to climb halfway before Jason gently pulled her to the top. Krill followed, his wings flapping nervously. Jason's clever use of smaller footholds allowed both aliens to succeed without using his full strength, see? Jason said with a grin. "Sometimes thinking is stronger than just muscles." The alien stared in amazement. They had assumed Jason's abilities were all about raw power, but now they realized he could solve problems just as well as he could run, lift, or climb. The next part of the maze involved swinging ropes over a pit. Most students struggled to time their swings correctly. They either swung too early or too late, missing the landing platforms and tumbling safely into nets below. Jason studied the ropes carefully. He counted the arc of each swing, predicting the motion. "Step forward on the third swing," he instructed Lura. "Timing is everything." She followed his instructions, and for the first time, a student crossed the ropes perfectly on the first try. Krill followed, his wings steady this time. The aliens whispered among themselves, beginning to realize that humans didn't just rely on strength. They used strategy, timing, and observation. As they continued, the maze introduced balance beams over moving platforms. These were tricky even for the strongest students. Many fell repeatedly, frustrated and exhausted. Jason stopped and examined the path carefully. He noticed the platforms moved slightly faster than expected in the middle. "Step in short bursts. Here," he told his teammates. "Lean slightly to your left. The center moves too quickly otherwise." Lura followed, her tail twitching nervously. With Jason's guidance, she crossed. The next morning, the Interstellar Academy gym buzzed with energy and quiet excitement. Word of Jason's performance had spread overnight. Aliens who had once feared him now whispered among themselves, curiosity and admiration blending with the remnants of awe. Today would be the final test not only of skill and endurance but of trust, teamwork, and courage. Coach Relcor clapped his four hands together, calling for attention. "Students, today we conclude our series of challenges. Each group will perform a cooperative task, designed to see how well you can work together under pressure. Remember, the greatest strength is not power alone. It is the ability to care for those around you." Jason arrived early, carrying his usual calm smile. He noticed the anxious faces around him. Lura's tail flicked nervously, Krill's wings trembled slightly, and even some of the strongest aliens looked hesitant. He knew the final challenge would push everyone to their limits, but he also knew it was the perfect opportunity to show them what humans were truly capable of. The task was set: a maze of moving platforms, swinging ropes, and narrow beams designed to test precision, endurance, and teamwork. Each group had to carry a heavy energy crate across the maze and deposit it safely at the end. Every step required careful balance and constant attention to one another. Jason's group consisted of Lura, Krill, and himself. The aliens exchanged nervous glances. The crate was large and heavy. "If we make a mistake," whispered Lura, "we will fall. Or worse." Jason gave a reassuring smile. "Don't worry. I'll be with you the whole way. We'll do it together." When the whistle blew, Jason led the way. Step by step, they navigated the moving platforms. The crate was heavy, but Jason adjusted his strength carefully. lifting just enough to support his friends without carrying it all himself. The aliens followed his lead, matching their steps to his guidance. Halfway through, Krill stumbled on a shaking platform. Without hesitation, Jason steadied him, gripping the edge with his hands and helping him regain balance. Lura blinked in amazement. He always knows what to do," she whispered. Jason smiled. "We just need to watch out for each other. That's all." As they reached the swinging ropes, another challenge appeared. Timing. The ropes swung in arcs, requiring perfect coordination. Many groups failed, falling into safety nets below. Jason counted the rhythm carefully, guiding Lura and Krill's movements. Together, they moved like a single organism, the crate swaying gently in perfect harmony. By the time they reached the narrow beams, the team was exhausted. Krill's wings drooped, and Lura's tail flicked nervously. But Jason remained steady, his energy seemingly endless. He adjusted the crate slightly, giving each of them the balance they needed. Slowly, carefully, they crossed the beams, the crate safe and secure. At last, the final stretch. A short climb to the delivery platform. Most teams had struggled here, failing at the last moment. Jason assessed the challenge calmly. "Step one at a time. Focus on your footing. I've got you," he said. Together they climbed, Jason supporting the crate while keeping Lura and Krill steady. The platform seemed impossibly far, but with patience and coordination, they reached it. Jason gently set the crate down, and all three of them stepped back, exhausted but triumphant. A cheer rose from the other students, not loud or rowdy but full of genuine respect. Even the competitive alien pair who had tried to rush ahead approached cautiously. You did it, without pushing anyone," one of them said. "You helped them, all of them." Jason shrugged. "That's what teamwork is. We all get stronger when we help each other." Coach Relcor stepped forward, nodding in approval. "Jason, today you have shown more than physical strength. You have demonstrated courage, patience, and true leadership. You are not only strong yourself, but you inspire strength in others. That is the mark of a human from a death world. Resilient, caring, and extraordinary." The other students murmured among themselves, slowly realizing the truth. Humans were not monsters, as stories had once suggested. They were unpredictable, yes, but not dangerous in the way they had feared. Humans were capable of incredible feats, and yet they could choose kindness over destruction. Lura approached Jason, her green eyes shining. I never thought someone from a death world could be like this. You didn't just win, you helped everyone win." Jason smiled gently. "That's because we all work together. You're strong too, never forget that." Krill nodded slowly. I want to learn more. Humans are strange, but I think maybe we can be stronger if we understand you." Across the gym, the atmosphere had shifted completely. Aliens who had entered with fear now left with respect and admiration. Whispered conversations turned to laughter and curiosity. "Humans, they aren't monsters, they're amazing," one student said, quietly. Jason packed up his things and prepared to leave. He had not come to prove anything. He had only wanted to join a class, make friends, and learn. Yet without trying, he had changed the hearts of everyone around him. He had shown that strength without care was meaningless, and that courage was measured not by power alone, but by how it was used. As he walked through the academy corridors, students waved at him for the first time without fear. Some asked questions, wanting to know more about humans, death worlds, and the strange ways of his people. Jason answered patiently, sharing stories of survival, teamwork, and kindness. That night, in the dormitory, Jason reflected on the past week. The students had feared him at first, but now they saw humans in a new light. Humans were not simply strong. They were adaptable, clever, brave, and capable of caring in ways no one expected. He realized that this was only the beginning. The Sci-Fi galaxy would meet many more humans in the years ahead, and each would leave a mark in their own way. Somewhere far across the galaxy, whispers spread in alien schools and academies. Humans. They survive anywhere. They fight. But they help too. Perhaps they are the strongest of all, not because they destroy, but because they protect. Jason lay back in his bed, smiling at the stars outside the window. He had not intended to change anyone. He had only tried to be himself, a human from a death world, and in doing so, he had reminded the galaxy that true strength was more than muscle, speed, or endurance. True strength came from heart, spirit, and the choice to help others. The galaxy might fear humans at first, but as Jason knew, it would also learn to respect them. And maybe, just maybe, the universe would one day understand what made humans truly extraordinary. The sun rose over the Interstellar Academy, painting the sky with bright streaks of pink and gold. The students gathered in the gym once again. Today was different. Today was the final endurance challenge, a test designed to push them beyond what they thought possible. Every alien student felt the tension in the air. Even the normally calm Coach Relcor looked serious. Jason arrived with a relaxed stride. He had slept well and felt ready for the challenge. To him, it was just another workout. But the aliens eyed him nervously. They remembered everything from previous classes. His speed, his strength, his balance, and his surprising kindness. They had started to respect him, yes, but fear still lingered. Today's challenge, announced Coach Relcor, will test endurance, teamwork, and courage. You must navigate the obstacle course in pairs. The first pair to finish correctly will set the standard for all others. Remember, it is not only strength that matters, it is also judgment, care, and coordination. The students exchanged anxious looks. The obstacle course was long and complex, with walls to climb, beams to balance on, ropes to swing across, and a final pit of uneven platforms that required absolute focus. Jason paired up with Lura and Krill. Both aliens stiffened. They knew working with a Deathworlder meant their mistakes would be magnified. If Jason moved too fast, they could fall. If he didn't, they would fail. Every step felt heavy with unspoken tension. The whistle blew, and the pairs dashed forward. Jason took the lead at a moderate pace, careful to adjust to his partner's abilities. Lura's tail flicked nervously as she balanced on a narrow beam while Krill's wings buzzed frantically. Jason stayed close, offering words of guidance. Shift your weight slightly forward, Lura. You've got this, he said calmly. Krill, lean your left wing a bit, it'll help stabilize you. The aliens followed his advice with trembling hands. Slowly they advanced. Jason's patience and observation amazed them. No one expected a Deathworlder to move so cautiously, yet every adjustment was precise. When they reached the wall climb, panic struck again. Krill's arms shook, and his grip slipped. Jason didn't hesitate. In one smooth motion, he steadied, him lifting just enough so Krill could regain his hold. Lura stared, frozen in awe. He actually saved us? She whispered. Jason smiled. Of course, that's teamwork. The rest of the course brought more challenges. Swinging ropes required timing, balance beams demanded focus, and the uneven platforms at the end tested their endurance. Many students fell during earlier attempts, but Jason moved steadily, helping Lura and Krill step safely. Step by step they progressed. Meanwhile, a competitive alien pair raced ahead, ignoring teamwork. They tried to finish first, pushing past each other. When they reached the last platform, they stumbled. One of them almost fell, but the other barely caught him. The coaches shook their heads. Strength alone wasn't enough. Care and judgment were equally important.